I'm Suzanne Spooner. I'm a level 3 QHHT practitioner. I'm here with Natalie Rich, who is also a QHHT practitioner in Ames, Iowa. We're here today at Ancient Ways, and we're going to do a live group regression, which gives you kind of a taste of what it's like to have a QHHT session, and also, most importantly, just know how easy it is for you to access so much information within your own consciousness on your own, which is very, very empowering. So I'm really excited to be a part of this experience with you guys today. This will be probably a lighter experience than if you had a true one-on-one QHHT session. However, we've also heard from people that participate in group sessions that it is quite intense, very detailed. They get a lot of information from it. So my intention is for you to experience something that is quite significant for you today. So I would invite you to put the intention out right now that whatever you experience in this group regression today is something that helps you to understand something about yourself or your situation in a deeper way. What happens in a QHHT session, is that this greater part of you that knows everything about your soul's history, we call it sometimes the high self or subconscious, is actually the director of the experience. It's picking the lifetime or the experience or story, if you don't believe in past lives, that helps you to understand something very valuable about what you're going through currently, maybe what you've gone through in your past, or what you need to know going forward in your highest and best way. So you're in good hands with your high selves, we'll call it today. You can insert the word that you feel most comfortable with. Does that make sense? Okay. So this process is very easy to do. The tips that I can give you that I have found in my sessions that help people let go and allow and receive their information in their easiest way are very simple to follow. The best one I have for you is whenever I ask questions while you're in the experience, trust the very first thoughts that come to mind. Those thoughts are always coming from the right side of your brain, and this is the part that we're wanting to tap into, the subconscious, the high self. It always knows the answer, so trust that one. If you find yourself kind of analyzing that scene or that scenario, then you're jumping back into your left side of the brain, and that analytical side is going to probably take that information and dilute it or completely kick it out to the curb. So we want you to just really trust that very first thought that comes to mind. It's a very good life tip as well, because you're always connected in to your high self. It always wants to help guide you, but we have free will, and it won't override that. So you're kind of strengthen the muscle to your high self so that you can be more easily guided in your day-to-day life. This is just an exercise that kind of accentuates that. Okay? Whenever I ask you to see things, try to see them in as much detail as you can. This gets the right side of your brain really open and juicy. It helps quiet down the left brain. It'll help you to relax even deeper. Okay? And I'm going to be asking you to be aware of things that are going on. Hang on to those memories as you can. When you come out, you're going to be writing down what has happened in it. Okay? So you can even, for now, if you want to, you can set the paper and pen down if you're more comfortable that way. We'll be doing that more towards the end. So this is going to be a real easy thing to do. You just listen to my voice and my words. You let me kind of guide you into this deep state. We're going to do a few examples before we actually get started, just to give you some opportunity to get your visualization going. Most people are visual with this practice because we're used to remembering events and people and things in our lives in our mind. This isn't like seeing out of physical eyes typically. It's more like seeing with your mind. So, if you think of your best friend from childhood, or something, an important day in your life, a wedding, a funeral, a graduation. You can picture those events in your mind's eye, right? With your eyes open or your eyes closed, you can see them and you could describe them to me, but it's different than you and I physically seeing each other today, right? So in most cases, it's going to be more like that, recalling a memory and an image. However, the cool part is you can do this really well even if you don't see anything. If you're one of the rare people that really sees no pictures, that's perfectly fine. You just trust your first thoughts that come to mind and you do it all with your thoughts. It just tends to be that even when people start out that way, they end up seeing some pictures. So we're going to assume you will. Does that sound okay? All right, so we're going to get ready to go here. So I just want you guys to get very comfortable in your chairs. And I want you to close your eyes and take some nice deep breaths. And with each breath you take, you're just going to allow your body to relax deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm going to ask you to start seeing some pictures. But not only see the picture, I want you to try to hear something, hear what's going on around you. Try to bring in some smells, even if you can. Use your sense of smell. Get the details of the scene. All right, so you're standing on the corner of a very busy city. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of noise. A lot of things going on around you. See the scene and fill it full of lots of details. Sounds, sights, smells. You're standing on the corner of a busy street in a big city. Just take some time to picture all the details. Just nod your head if you've got those details now. Okay, now we're going to change that scene. We're leaving the busy city and we're standing on a beach. And just take a look around. Notice the colors of the water. Variations in the colors. You can even smell the scent of the salty air. Maybe the beautiful colored food. You can look down and see your feet in the sun. Enjoy being there on that beautiful. Easy as that as we get started here. Just let your mind go. Don't get worried about anything. Just go with the very first thoughts that come to mind and just enjoy the experience. All right. You ready to start? All right. So again, just get nice and comfy. Close your eyes. All right. Now I want you to see the outside of the place where you currently live, the house, the apartment, whichever it is. You see this every day, you know it well. You see the outside of the place where you live. Take some time to take in the details, the sense. Your mind, what is the first room you come into? Take the details in. You're there now. And now go into the kitchen. Take a look around, see where the stove is at, where the refrigerator is, where you eat your meals at. So easy to see. Very great detail. Now, I want you to go into the bedroom where you sleep. The bedroom where you sleep. Notice the furniture that is in the room. Fill it full of details. Now, I want you to look at the walls of that room. And I want you to find a wall that does not have a door on it. A wall in the room that does not have a door. Now, make a door in the wall. Make a door appear in the wall that normally does not have a door. Now, open the door. And when you open the door, you see steps going down, down, down in front of you. Walk down the steps. At the bottom of the steps is a long hallway going away from you. A long hallway. Walk down the hallway. There is enough light that you can easily see where you're going. Walk down the hallway. In the distance, you can see at the end of the hallway, there's an opening. You can see light down there. There's an opening at the end of the hallway. Walk towards that opening. Walk down the hallway toward the opening at the end. Now you have reached the opening at the end of the hallway. You are standing in front of the opening. This is the doorway, the opening to the past. You know when you step through that opening, you will be in another time, another place where there is information for you. Now, step through the opening. Now you have stepped through the opening. Are you inside or outside? Become aware of the surroundings around you. Look around you and notice what you see around you. Now, become aware of, are you old? Become very familiar and aware of this new body. Now, go to the place where you live in that new body, the place where you eat and where you sleep. And now you're there. Stand in front of that place. What does it look like from the outside? Where you eat and sleep at, where you live in this time that you're viewing. See what it's like inside. Look at all the details inside the place where you live. See where the food is cooked. Now, see yourself eating a meal in that time and place. What kind of food are you eating? Is there anyone sitting with you, around you, eating with you? If there's anyone living with you in this space, you will see them and they are with you now. You will easily be able to identify your connection with you. See if anyone is sitting with you. You may be on how you spend the majority of your time. Do you have a job, an occupation? What takes up the majority of your time? See yourself doing it right now. Take an all important day in that life that you're viewing. Another day when something else is happening that you consider to be important. You've gone forward to another important day. What is happening now? What do you see? All right, now let's leave that scene and let's move forward to one more time, another important day. A day that you consider to be important when something else is happening. It's another important day and you are there now. What do you see now? And what's happening? Now, leave that scene and I want you to move forward to the last day of that life we're looking at. The last day of that life. And let's see what's happening. It won't bother you at all. You can watch it as an observer if you want to. You've gone forward to the last day of your life. You can see what is happening to you on that day, why this will be the body's last day. And just observe what's happening. Now, whatever has happened has already happened. You have left the body and you're on the other side of it. You are out of the body and you're on the other side. It's already happened. And from that position, you can look back over that entire lifetime and know and see everything that was important about it. Every lifetime has lessons and a purpose. What was the lesson or lessons that you learned? What did you learn from that lifetime? Trust the first thing that comes to mind. And every lifetime has a purpose. What was the purpose of that lifetime? There may have been others in that lifetime that you would recognize in the current lifetime. You can scan that lifetime to see if there's any connections from that lifetime to the current. And you can easily see how that lifetime relates to your current lifetime. What's the reason it relates to the current lifetime? All right, now we're going to turn around. We're going to come back into this room. I'm going to count to 10, and on the count of 10, you'll be wide awake and feeling wonderful all over, remembering everything you have seen so you can write it down. It will be in your memory so you can write it down. You are becoming conscious of this room again. You are back here in this room, and as I count to 10, you'll be back in your body and you can open your eyes and remember what you have experienced. 1, 2, you're beginning to breathe a little to wake up now. 3, 4, you can move your arms and legs around to get the blood circulating again because you're back here now and you're beginning to wake up now. 5, 6, you're becoming aware of the sounds in the room and the sounds outside of the room. You know that there are people sitting around you. You're very much aware of your physical surroundings because you're oriented back here now in this time and this place. And you're waking up now. 7, 8, you're coming up very nicely now, very nicely. 9, 10, wide awake, feeling wonderful all over and remembering everything that you saw so you can write it down. So now take your paper and your pen and write down all the details that you can easily remember. Okay, about done. All right, who can share where they went? What was it like?
Well, for me, I just could visualize like an old farmhouse, and then I was like sitting at the dinner table with, it seemed like it was my mom at the time, but I felt like it was my grandma Marilyn. So
What was the time period feeling like?
felt like early 1900s.
Really? Oh, that
Yeah.
gives me chills.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've had a couple of these before, and it's usually hard for me to like visualize stuff. So
it's more like a knowing, or?
Well, this one I could actually visualize it, so that was
Awesome.
the first time. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So what details did you notice that you hadn't noticed before?
I don't know, just kind of like I was out on a farm and, just playing around like a little kid would, stuff like that. And then at the end, just laying in a hospital bed. And then reminded me a lot of another grandpa I had, but I don't really have any memory of, just like maybe seeing him when he was towards his death. So I kind of went back and forth from being hard to visualize to being able to, so.
Okay, so that's exciting,
Yeah,
huh?
that's a good step in the right direction.
And an interesting time for the lifetime,
Yeah.
back in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Who else has someone they can share? Don't be shy. Well, we need all the details, just a little bit about time period or what was happening. Do you have one?
Yeah, I can share. When the door opened, all I could see was stars, and I stepped down onto a solid surface. When you asked us to see our home, I could see that my home was a silver shining, first thing I noticed was I had on a silver shining, like, spacesuit kind of thing. It was pretty tight fitting.
Yes.
But it almost looked like when you wear a vest that has down in it, that kind of thing, but it was pretty tight fitting.
Okay.
I don't know what my gender was. It didn't seem to matter.
Right.
So then you asked about what our home was like. It looked like a silver dome. And when you asked us to enter it, I entered a room that was very uncluttered. Every surface was clean and white.
Okay.
Except for at the end of this long counter. I don't know if it was a range. I don't know what it was. It's like some sort of a grid thing. But I did notice that the right side of the room, I think it was all windows. All I know is there was light. It was really intense light, to the point where I couldn't see anything after a while.
Oh, interesting.
It just all whited out. Then you asked us to sit down to eat, which took some effort because that seemed foreign.
Yes. Right.
It didn't feel like I eat.
Right.
So I was just there alone. I don't know why. I just was just there alone. Then you asked us, I don't know, you moved us the second time. I don't remember what the question was, but I remember what I saw. I saw a large white, I don't know if it was a building or a vessel. I couldn't see the whole thing. All I could see was just this white wall type thing. But I knew that whatever this was, it was going to move eventually, and there was a dark window in it. And I knew that there were, I'll say people or beings. I knew they were in there. I even wondered if I was in there with them.
Okay.
And I knew that pretty soon this would be moving.
Okay.
And that we'd be going to the next place. And then you moved us the third time, and I knew I was old, so I wasn't as busy anymore. You asked us to see about our death. I saw my body in this cylinder. You could see through the cylinder, and it kept spinning. And the body wasn't rolling around, it was just spinning in the cylinder, and I knew that that would be how they would take care of the body.
Do you remember what your role or your job was there?
It had something to do with educating people. Not like book education necessarily, more like just bringing people to education.
Cool. Interesting. Good job. I forgot to mention you may not be on Earth, but
This is not unusual for me.
Yes.
Every time I'm asked to go someplace, I go to space all the time.
it's not unusual in sessions. You know, we're getting more people that that aren't on Earth in those experiences. So that's awesome. Very good. Anything else? Okay. Good.
I don't think so. I know I didn't die, that's for sure.
Just kind of
I knew I
transitioned?
just transitioned, yeah.
Nice. Very good. Thank you. Did you want to go?
I saw that I was a man,
A band?
and I was old,
Okay.
and you said look down. I had big feet with sandals on.
Okay.
And the road was red.
So a long robe all over the body? That's what
Well,
you
no,
wore?
I had like pants, short pants.
Okay.
No, the road was red, right?
The road was
Road.
red. The road was red, sorry.
Road. Got it.
And what I did, I was pushing a wheelbarrow
Okay.
in a grape field, and like a winery type place.
Okay.
And when I went somewhere, it was to the church, and it was like white stucco, and there was a big, tall evergreen, and it was for my daughter's wedding, and the priest had long brown robes on.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
like
Does that surprise you that that's what you
it's
saw?
like, I don't even know where I was.
How can you make this stuff up, right?
I don't know. Grow grapes.
Did you get a sense of how you spent your time, what you did during?
I don't know why that just kept
Gotcha.
up the road, back down. I don't know what I did with it.
Well, that's, I love that, when people go to places that they never even knew existed or expected to go to, that's a great marker to show you how deeply in you are.
This is what it came, that it was good to have a simple job.
Okay, that gives me chills. So how does that relate with your current life, would you say?
I have a pretty simple job.
It always relates in some way. That's the fun part to find out, because sometimes that's showing you're right on path. This is what you're not supposed to be overcomplicating
And I
things.
like to do that too, so.
Right, perfect, very good. Anybody else want to share? Pretty quiet, okay. Well, you guys did great. I mean, we were watching, and a few of you looked like you were very, very, very relaxed, which is wonderful, because this isn't, the scenario where, most people think that they're going to relax very much in, but you all did really, really good, and the details that you got are pretty nice. And here's what we tend to find out, is it's kind of like now you've opened up this kind of creaky door to a memory, a lifetime in your soul's history. And what's very common is from, maybe tonight or in your dreams, or, maybe you're stopped at a stop sign and all of a sudden more information will start coming in about that lifetime. Because again, no coincidence that you saw what you saw. It was all on point and perfect. And it usually takes a little bit of time after the experience to start putting those pieces together and understanding exactly why you saw what you saw. So even as you get home, if you start getting more information and details, write it down, and then kind of go away from it, and come back later and look at it, and I think you'll find some valuable information in it for you. Was it harder than you thought or easier than you thought to do?
It wasn't hard, but I couldn't shut out the music.
Yeah. Yes, we're in a little bit of a, great scenario, great place here at Ancient Ways, but it is, we have a little bit of distraction, but look how good you did,
I know, but I really love music.
Yeah.
So I kept kind of moving back to the music. In fact, it would get louder as I would pay more attention to
that's
it.
interesting, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, because it's not so loud now.
No, you know what I would say that is? That's leaning a little bit to the left mind, and the left mind going, hey, I'm in control here, I don't know if we need to be finding out about the spaceship.
I could tell myself to forget about the music, but then I'd wander back over to the music.
Yeah, it takes, it's a great exercise in kind of managing that left side of the mind. And we're just in this really interesting time now with humanity. We see this in QHHT sessions all the time. It's kind of like this really cool, laboratory to see where humanity is at with this great shift that we're in. Because what we're finding out in these sessions over years and decades, Dolores was doing this work, Dolores Cannon was doing this work, 50 years ago, is that we're becoming more aware and able to tap into this part of us that knows everything. So back in the day, when people had sessions, or group regressions especially, they had it in a little bit different way. Let me talk about actual sessions. They would actually have what we call an amnesia experience in many cases, where at the end they would come up and they wouldn't remember anything or very little. And we all would like to be that way because we don't want to work too hard. We just want to come up and have this amazing experience recorded for us, which is what is done in a traditional QHHT session. But over the last 10 years especially, we're noticing that people are saying after the sessions or after these experiences, they felt quite aware. They heard the music, the traffic outside perhaps, but yet they're still able to tap in and get some of this great information. And what the high cells are explaining in sessions to me is that this is happening for a reason. Back in the day, we had to have this amnesia experience in order to get this information starting to come through. Our brains weren't wired yet to access this information in an awake and aware state. So how clever is that? Because, this information started coming through in these sessions about this deep consciousness that we all have access to. Dolores and others started writing books about these experiences, which piqued interest of so many of us and got our heads thinking, oh my gosh, maybe this could be me. Maybe I could have these experiences. But over the last 10, 15 years or so, we've noticed that clients are saying at the end of the session, after we count them up, that they still felt somewhat aware. And when this phenomenon first started happening, it was a worry because we didn't know why this was happening, why people were feeling more aware. The sessions were staying the same. They were still getting detailed information about other lifetimes, other experiences. Everything about the sessions was normal. It's just that they were feeling more aware. And what we know now in 2019 is that it's because, as the high cells say, we're learning to access this information in an awake and aware state. So this is pretty cool. We could just be having coffee or just meeting here like this as a group, and I could say, okay, so, where were you in the Middle Ages? What were you doing then? And you could say, 1 second, please. Well, okay. I was this really bad dude, or I was this amazing person, and some of the traits I'm pulling through in this life, and you can totally connect it all in an awake and aware state, which is phenomenal. It's a huge leap in evolution that we're witnessing. So we're just in this point where we have to understand feeling aware is part of the process now, and we just have to help manage it. And you guys did really good. You did fabulous. And those tips of saying or remembering the first things that come to mind are it's a really great tool to help you integrate that information, even if that left brain of yours is going, I think I'm making this up. I don't think this is true. I don't think I'm relaxed enough. That's a left brain thought. And so we're learning to integrate our minds, our left and our right side of our minds, which is going to make us superhuman, because we'll have full access to this in an awake and aware state. And you guys just demonstrated, in a scenario with others around you sitting up, you can get yourself pretty relaxed to tap into this amazing knowledge that you carry with you at all times. So, congratulations. You guys did a good job.
Thank you.
Yes. It's a joy. It's so much fun to walk you guys through these experiences. Thank you. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
So other sessions I've had, like